Hi, welcome back to the Southern Homestead. My name is Tammy, and after a round of respiratory illness here in the house, we are back in the saddle. Today I'm going to be making some homemade soap. We are running low on our stored bars of soap, and I'm going to quickly whip up a few batches that should last us through the next year. I have measured out my water and my lye, and I'm going to mix them, but I'm going to do it out on the porch because of the fumes. And you want to have pretty good ventilation when you mix the two, and you always want to add your lye to the water. You never want to add the water to the lye because of the splashing effect, and lye is very corrosive. You want to keep it off your skin. You want to keep it out of your eyes. So long sleeves, gloves, goggles, glasses, safety first. I'm just going to put my pot directly on my scale, tear it out, and then start measuring my oils in the pot, and then I'll heat up the oils. We need 184 grams of the coconut oil. And next we need 115 grams of tallow. And I actually render my own tallow. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll link that for you above so that you can check that out. Next, we're gonna need some olive oil, and we're gonna need about 340 grams. So I'm gonna zero that out again. And the next thing we need is some castor oil. We need about 57 grams of the castor oil. And then lastly, we're gonna do some sweet almond oil. So I'm gonna zero that out again. We're gonna use about 99 grams of the sweet almond oil. All right, and then we're gonna heat it up on the stove until they're all melted and combined. Then we're gonna let that cool. And then when the lye and the oils are cooled down to at least 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, then we will go ahead and combine them to make the soap. My oils are completely melted. And we're gonna take it off the burner. So we're gonna let the oils cool down, and we will check the lye solution in a few minutes. We'll check the temperature, and when both of them have reached between 100 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit, then we will start the soap making process. All right, we are there. We're gonna add our essential oils now, and it's at a slight trace. If you can see how it's leaving little piles on top. And then I've ground up a couple of tablespoons of oats, and I'm just gonna mix those in. And I'm gonna pour it into my mold. And that's it. It's gonna sit for about 24 hours. Then I'll take it out of the mold and slice it up to whatever thickness we like. And then it'll have to sit on the shelf curing for at least 4 weeks, preferably a little bit longer, maybe 6 weeks or so, just so that you have a nice, firm, hard bar that doesn't melt and dissolve, you know, the first couple of times you take a shower. Okay, so I have transferred my soap out into the apothecary, and this is the stand my husband got for me just recently, and it's perfect for curing my soaps. There was a local business that was closing down, and they were selling all of their inventory, including their shelving and stands and everything. And we got this for a fairly reasonable price, and it's perfect. All in all, I was able to make 34 bars of homemade soap. So I did 3 separate batches. We should be good to go for the next year, and maybe longer. So it's that time of year again where we have to start looking at planning out our spring garden. And even though it's smack dab in the middle of winter, now's the best time to start planning for spring. We have a couple of companies that we order our seeds from and have for many years. And one of them is Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. And I have my spring 2025 catalog here. And I've just been going through and looking. I've already ordered most of my seeds. We also have seeds from our garden from last year that we saved off the plants. We try to do as much seed saving as possible. In the end, it saves you money, and you know that the plant will do really well because it grew here the year before. There's actually a couple of things that we use to help us with planning our garden. One of them is going to be Clyde's garden planner, and I'll leave a link below for you if you're interested in this little pull-out card. And there's basically 2 sides. One is for a spring garden, the other one is for a fall garden. All right, so this one is spring, and you line up the red line with the approximate date of your last frost. And then once you do that, there'll be, and there's a legend down at the bottom, but there'll be markings under certain days and certain months that will tell you when to plant outdoors, when to start your seeds, when to harvest, and all of that. The only thing about this is there are some things that are not on here. For example, garlic is not listed on here. And I mean, I'm sure there are others, but that's just the one that really stuck out to me. But it does come in handy. The other program that we use is Seedtime. Seedtime is pretty much the same thing. You're going to enter in all the crops that you want to grow. It's going to line it up on the calendar for you. And as far as when to start your seeds indoors, or if you're going to direct sow the seed into the garden, it tells you what date to do that. And it's all based on your zone that you live in, which is based off of your last frost date. All right, so this is the Seedtime program, and I have it pulled up on my laptop. And as you can see, on the left, under my crops, it's got a list of all the plants that I've entered in. And for the most part, all of the plants do show up in the list. There are a few that are not listed yet with Seedtime, but you can just manually enter those in. And then on the right, it's going to show you the different tasks, and it will let you know. For example, I have 7 tasks here, and I can filter that. I have all of them checked right now. I want to know when it's time to direct seed, or when it's time to start my seeds indoors, when it's time to transplant my seedlings, harvest, and all that. So I have all of my filters checked, but I could uncheck For example, bed preparation, I could uncheck that. If you wanted to view it for the year or just for the month. So here's what it would look like for the month of January. And as you can see, I've already got a task down here that tells me I need to start seeding my oregano. At the end of the month, I will go ahead and start my seeds for my oregano indoors. So that is seed time in a nutshell. Well, thanks for joining me on the homestead today, friends. I hope you'll try making your homemade soap, and hopefully you've started planning your garden for the spring. We'll see you next time.